And we are back in a little better mood tonight. Good to
Yes,
see
sir.
everybody. Hello, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you got your beers. It's Saturday. It's a Saturday afternoon edition. Never too early to start boozing on a night like tonight when your Red Legs are up 6-3 as we take on the top of the ninth here. Got Emilio Pagan coming in, hopefully getting a chance to get things going here.
Cheers to you. Glad to be back tonight. It's definitely a more comfortable seat when it's a winning game, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see this thing go down here, and there are some folks that are going to be ahead of us. But, hey, here we go. Oh,
Come
man.
on, Emilio.
Nice to see a sharp night here out of the bullpen. Worked around a few mistakes there with Santillan. Hopefully getting a situation where we can get this thing put to bed without too much of a situation. But here we go.
I'm not sure we're going to enjoy this first at bat, according to the chat. The chat's
Yeah, he hit the hell out of that, didn't he?
Well, there goes that one.
Another foul pole ding-dong hitting by these guys. Son of a bitch. Here we go. Well, oh, man, we're going down.
Strap in. We might have to start drinking heavily, boys.
Yep, drinking faster. Here we go. No, man.
Come on, Emilio. We need to bounce back.
Never easy. Oh, man, they got to put this away. This is a catastrophic loss if we don't hang on to this one. You got a 2-run lead. Got a chance here. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, definitely would have been nice to add on that Stevenson run there in the bottom of the inning. Hindsight,
yeah,
20.
Yeah, and I mean Friedel's been hitting the hell out of the ball, so I understand the JR household. Ty Steve's got to score there, though. I mean, you got 2 outs, you're running on contact, that ball gets into the corner, and we don't get there. That's it's slow running, man. I saw somebody mention a pinch hitter. I mean, you've got 3 catchers, so I mean, it's not like you take him out and lose that much in terms of what's going on there.
Right.
So, just one of those things that we need to get something going here. Oh, man.
Let's add some likes to the stream. Everybody like the stream, subscribe, click the bell button, all that good stuff.
All right. 0-2. Throws one down in the dirt.
Come on, kid.
We are a couple pitches behind where game day's at. So those that are in the chat and talking about what's going on in the game, I'm seeing it a little bit ahead of time. You may see it in my facial reaction, but try not to spoil it for those that might be streaming the game about the same time we are. Oh, man.
I can't get my stream to catch up to game time for nothing.
Yeah. Game days. Game days right on there. If you're ever watching a game and you need to see something live, I'm pretty sure it beats what I could sit in the ballpark and your betting apps like DraftKings and FanDuel and stuff like that update quicker than what's getting ready to happen. It's one of those like, oh my God, those guys go fast. You want to see how a game shifts around and stuff like that. It's one of those, you got the bettors know what's going on so that they can change the markets on the live odds.
Yeah.
But
if you catch any loophole in that system whatsoever,
it's right there. Oh, paints a corner, gets a call for the first out of the.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
There we go. Come on.
Let's go.
Come on.
Come on. We need 2 big ones here.
Yeah, it's going to bring up another lefty in Matt Shaw.
They got off to a slow start, but they expect big things out of this kid.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, of course it's fair. Down the line it goes, going into second base. That brings a tying run to the plate. If you're not careful,
again,
you're going to see old Opie Taylor and PCA get a chance to win this thing for them. Oh, goodness, Emilio. Come on, man.
Come on, man. The struggle
Just
continues.
Inside the line. Oh. That's a borderline foul ball.
Wow.
Right there with you.
I didn't realize it was quite that close. Yeah, I caught the front end corner of that bag. Oh, what a dagger. All right, come on, Emilio. See what you got.
Let's go. Come on, baby.
See what you got.
Diaz 2.0. Yeah, I don't know that we're quite there because he would walk the guys before he does this shit. Oh, man. No, appreciate you, chat. Love to see the interaction all game. Corey and I have actually been in here since about the 7th, and just seeing everybody kind of go back and forth with what's going on. That's what we're at. You know, it's a big crowd in there tonight. I'm sure there's still a lot of blue jerseys, but it sounded good when I listened to it first thing on the radio, and also, what we're seeing in the stands and stuff. But yeah, it's an exciting night. There's still a little bit of juice down there. You get yourself a chance to go out and take a series tomorrow if you can get through this thing. So we got an 0-2 count. The chat's kind of giving it away. So those of you that are watching, if you're not watching the chat and you're kind of following along with us, we got Ian Happ on an 0-2 count. And as he brings it here.
Come on, Emilio.
Whoo! Yes, up top. Let's go. 2 outs. Come on, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Come on.
Yes, sir.
If you're at home, if you're whatever you're doing, if you're in the ballpark and you happen to weirdly be listening to us, we need to go ahead and get on our feet a little bit. Need to get this thing moving. There's a runner on second base that we don't care about. Everything's about this guy at the plate here.
Let's go. Let's
Emilio to shut this thing down as it gets to Kyle Tucker. Big acquisition in the offseason from the Astros. And it's one of those guys that they've not had the opportunity to re-sign him yet, but man, it feels like it should be coming anytime soon. Ball down to start the at-bat.
Got to tread lightly with this guy. He's one of the hottest hitters on the planet right now in the last 7 days.
Yeah, and then you back him up with Suzuki to Dansby Swanson here. So you got a righty-lefty matchup here that I'm not big on, but at the same time, I'm not bringing in Taylor Rogers for this one at bat to flip it around to Seiya Suzuki. So here we go. I think we're going to be happy here, but let's see how this thing plays out. He does get himself to 2-0. We got 2 outs. It's Kyle Tucker. He's got a chance here. He's got to make it 6-5 standing out there on second base.
Come on, Emilio. Make your picture.
Man, I like the way he dots that ball in the outside corner, though. He's got a chance. Oh, man. So now he's got him 2-0. Probably sitting dead red, thinking he's about to get something that he can absolutely hammer. If I had to guess, Emilio gives him one of those 4-seamers right around 96.5 miles an hour. And he does so, and he lifts it into short right field. Will Benson.
Let's go.
I got it, and this one belongs to your Cincinnati Reds. Corey and I don't take the really big, long break, but what we're going to do is going to take 1 minute and 30. Go grab some fresh beers. We're cracking them open on the other half of this. We'll give you a rundown on a victorious night as your Cincinnati Red Legs win 6-4. Looking forward to talking about it. You're not going to hear me go off the deep end quite as hard as I did last night, but good to have my brother back, and we'll see you here in just a few.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to a career of Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome back into what is the High Wire Act known as the Cincinnati Reds season. Welcome back to a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds, brought to you by Deep South Commodities. Thanks to always for our friends with DSC. But welcome to the roller coaster that is the 2025 season. Speaking of roller coasters, I'm here with my brother Eric Phillips, who spent a little time down at Kings Island today. Eric, did some of those rides feel like the 2025 season going on right now?
Man, hit the racer there, and I'm telling you what, it's been about 15 years since I've jumped on that thing, and going up and back with my 7-year-old. kind of baptized him and by fire with some of the speed that those wooden roller coasters have out there. But a lot of fun, a lot of good times had before the game. But yeah, it's an up and down situation. Down, I was about as down as I've been all year last night with folks, and I know Kirby clipped it up and threw it out there on X, and yeah, I felt just as ashamed about it, seeing it for the second time as I did, kind of after, as soon as I said it last night, because this is the game of baseball. You get a chance to come back out again, and the Reds get out there and they get a 6-4 win today. So, Chad, if you're with us, cheers to you. Beers are up. It's a Saturday night. It's a winning edition. Corey T and I now have a winning record for the season. So here we go.
Absolutely. What an exciting night at the ballpark. We see our guy RD 711 with a super chat. Appreciate that, brother. Sick fitteds, meaning our hats. Sick fitteds, boys. So hey, appreciate that shout out, brother. Thank you. I was trying to
got the big league chew edition from the new era, one of the series they came out with a year ago. So I'm a big fan of this one. This is one of my favorite lids.
I like that one, man. Speaking of big league chew, sounds like we took a big bite out of one of our National League Central Division foes tonight. Give you a little box score recap for us, E?
Yeah, absolutely. So tonight it was first 4:10 first pitch. Kind of a different start time. Had to fight some sun and shadows there towards the end of the game. But you had Andrew Abbott going against Colin Rea. And after a double play to end the first inning for Andrew Abbott, we got going in the bottom of the first after a Santiago Espinal walk. Elly comes up and hits a laser of a home run out to the sun deck, making it 2-0 Reds. And that ball was walloped. In the top of the third, the Cubs did cut it in half with a Justin Turner home run to left center that John Sadak made sound like it was a lazy fly ball, but then it ended up about 10 rows deep out there in left field. So that cut the lead to 2-1. After a quiet bottom of the fourth and top of the fourth, we get to the bottom of third and top of four. We get to the bottom of the fourth where Gavin Lux gets off of the Schneid with a double. He advances the third on a wild pitch. After a Spencer Steele walk, you've got runners on first and third, and Benson just misses a home run as Pete Crow-Armstrong made a pretty nice play out by the wall, but that sacrifice fly made it 3-1 Reds. Take that to the bottom of the fifth, where after a TJ Friedel single, he advances to second on an errant pickoff throw. Then Santiago Espinal comes up and hits a perfect bunt, pushes it to the first base side, advances the runner. Worst case scenario, you've got a runner on third with one out, but instead you've got runners on the corners at first and third. And then an Elly at bat, Espinal takes second base, but during that at bat, Elly gets 2 strikes on him early, becomes that professional that we've been looking for, and comes through clutch again for us and slaps a single through the right side, making it 5-1 Reds. Later that inning, after Elly reaches base with his single, he actually steals second, and then Spencer Steele extends his hitting streak to 12 games with a base hit, and that made it 6-1 Reds as Elly would come around to score. In the top of the sixth, Andrew Abbott was pulled after 2 outs. He did have, I believe, runners on first and third at the time, and that was after 83 pitches. I was scratching my head a little bit, knowing that we needed the length out of our starting rotation today and tomorrow as well, as our bullpen was taxed pretty heavily last night. I thought it was kind of a quick trigger at 83 pitches, but at the same time, it's a button that it didn't hurt us. Graham Ashcraft comes in and gets a fly out, gets us out of the sixth inning with no more damage done. It's still a 6-1 lead for the Redlegs. At the top of the seventh, after a Carson Kelly single, Matt Shaw doubles, giving the runners second and third for the Cubbies. Ian Happ then grounds out to Spencer Steele, making it 6-2 Reds. A big strikeout of Kyle Tucker strands the next runner on third base, getting us out of the inning in the top of the seventh, but with that 6-2 lead. Tony Santillan would come on, and after a 17-pitch loss last night, in a situation where he came in through 17 pitches and did not record an out, they go right back to him. You and I talked about it as we were kind of on here kicking things around. And it was one of those situations that you have to get him back out there because he's going to be an important piece of this thing moving down the line. You can't let last night linger too long. And so Tito shows his gumption and says, hey, we're going right back to our big guy. We feel like we can take care of business there. And in the top of the eighth, he leads off with a Seiya Suzuki double after a Dansby Swanson ground out. Pete Crow-Armstrong hits a sacrifice fly, cutting it to 6-3 Redlegs. And then he eventually gets out of there. And in the top of the ninth, we get Emilio Pagan in. First pitch that he throws is a dinger, and then making it 6-4 Redlegs. And that ends up your final score. A winning addition. Love to see it. Andrew Abbott gets the win. Colin Rea takes the loss. Corey T, initial thoughts on what was a pretty exciting ball game, which we were able to play out on and things.
Yeah, absolutely. We even added that into the rundown. It was a good night at the ballpark. Offensively, it was good to get going. Seeing your boy Elly finally get off the schneid there in the first inning, kind of felt like the momentum carried us from there. Him giving us the early lead, and that's all Andrew Abbott needs. He got a typical Andrew Abbott outing. He was very precise, very efficient. I don't know that he threw more than 17 or 18 pitches in each inning, so that was definitely exciting to see. I was kind of with you on the early trigger. It kind of felt early. I don't know if maybe there was a numbers matchup with Graham Ashcraft and who was it, Nico Horner or Horner that was coming up, but
righty and Nico Horner, or
right,
lefty and Nico, yeah.
So I don't know if there was maybe a numbers matchup or something going on there that behind the scenes that we don't know about, because it did feel a little bit early, like you said, being taxed in the bullpen. But bullpen comes in and does their job, and we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, man. But the add-ons were absolutely important. Getting those add-on runs when who was it, Colin Rea was getting a little tired there, and they were stretching them out. Getting those add-on runs kept the daggers from being absolute killers. The one, because each bullpen guy did come in up giving up one earned run, but because of those add-on runs, you still end up on top, and you still end up with a Reds win, and we still end up with victory beers on a Saturday night, man. So there we go. It was a lot of fun. So from a rundown standpoint, we're going to get into the deep drive of the day. We're going to talk about A+ Abbott. Got another solid outing out of him. Elly's back for tonight. I don't want to say Elly's all the way back, because the last time I said that, my man went to a slump, and I don't want to do that to him again. So we're going to talk about Elly being there when we need him, and like we said, playing the add-on ball. That add-on ball ended up being very, very crucial there in the end. So what was a good night at the ballpark, Eric? Let's talk about the DSC deep drive of the day. We're going to have to go with Elly. Elly's crush there in the first inning to get us going was really a momentum swing, and we didn't look back from there. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, when Elly hits a ball 106.4 miles an hour with a launch angle of 25, traveling 397 feet, that is going to be our deep drive of the day, and it is sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is the leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks, as always, to our friends at DSC. And that laser was a beautiful swing, and it's Elly from the left side, the Elly from the comfortable side against right-handed pitcher Colin Rea. And I think I went pretty hard on some guys last night in the averages and the situations and things like that we've had. And I think, honestly, the Achilles heel for the most part is left-handed pitching again, similar to what it was a year ago. You've got guys that aren't producing against left-handed pitching, and therefore every out and every situation that Elly doesn't show up in, turns into a dire straits, and we feel like the world is falling in. But we get a righty on the mound today. We bash him early. You get 2 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth. That add-on and just build up. And there was constant pressure on the bases, it seemed like, all night long. We never gave anybody an easy inning. I think we only had 2 innings where we went 3 up, 3 down. And so just keeping the pace with people, and constantly having pressure on the base paths, that leads to taxing physical, mental innings. I know their catcher goes out with a side, oblique injury there in the middle of the game. And so just keeping things working, because we're working the bases, and good things happen when you flood them up. And tonight we do get the long ball that escaped us last night. So awesome to see Elly in a night where he had to hear that PCA is a much better player than he is. Today, PCA still puts a stamp on the game, but Elly comes out the victor when he hits the 2-run ding dong, and also has the base hit that scores 2 there in the fifth inning. So amazing night from Elly. Good night, good clean night defensively. I think one of the things that stuck out to me as well was there later in the game when we had situations where, a runner on first or a runner on second, we're taking the outs that are given to us, and we're trading outs for, advancing a base at a time and cutting that to 1 run instead of letting that be the Matt McClain play of last night, where he doesn't get an out anywhere. And instead we get the bases loaded with 1 out, and that gives them a chance to jump back in front. We avoided that situation. Again, our guys did a pretty good job. I'm taking a look at our pitching here for the night. Only 2 base on balls for the entire night, and those both came from Andrew Abbott. So the bullpen doesn't walk anybody. That's a recipe for success, man. You can give up if you're giving up solo shots in a 4-run lead, not that big a deal. But it's one of those. I like the idea that we were able to bounce back and get things going in the right direction. And now tomorrow, I think you're staring 0-24 in the face. You've got rubber matches that you've not been able to win. You're going into a situation where you've got a rubber match. You lost the first game of the series. We've not won this 3rd game. We've not put 2 together after losing the first game of the series in quite some time. And so you got a chance tomorrow. Again, it's against the Cubs. It's to get yourself back to 500. Tomorrow at 140 now feels like probably the most important game of the season to date.
Oh, absolutely. Your next game is always your most important game, but this one definitely has all the feels of a must win. It'd be nice to get a good performance. We got Lodolo going tomorrow.
Yeah. So we got Nick Lodolo tomorrow. Tomorrow is a 141st pitch. Nick Lodolo 4-4 with a 3.22 ERA against right-handed pitcher. Good for us. Ben Brown, who's 3-3 with an over 5 ERA. So a guy that's given up some runs. If we can get out there and mash the ball a little bit, if Lodolo can, be that pseudo ace that we need him to be, we've got a situation where we can get this thing rolling and to go down to play the Fighting Jonathan Indias in Kansas City on Monday.
Absolutely. If we can get a Lodolo outing like Abbott gave us today, efficiency, save the bullpen. Because you and I had talked a little bit earlier about there was always that possibility of this being an Andrew Abbott blow up game where we got to pull him into third and tax the bullpen again, and then we're completely out of pitchers come Sunday. So getting that solid outing out of Andrew Abbott, even though we did feel like it pulled him a little bit early, the 5 solid that he gave us and the efficiency that he gave us definitely going to help us for tomorrow's run. We're going to have a few more fresh arms coming out of the bullpen, which always bodes well when you're going for the series win. Like you say, we're over, so we need everybody lined up that we could possibly get. So
yeah, and you didn't have to use Taylor Rogers tonight, so your best lefty is going to be there. Suter does throw 35 pitches last night, and so I don't know that he's back and ready to go tomorrow, but I'm telling you right now, you tell Brent Suter he's got a chance. Old boy's taking the ball and going with it. I love the leadership that he shows there. I do see we got another super chat here from Flat Rock 79. If this keeps up, I'm going to have to cancel my FanDuel. Don't do it, man. Not yet. Now's not the time. Give it a chance. We got 4 more games against these turd birds over the next week. We're going to get a chance to show it to them and tell them that they're not going to run away with this thing for the entire season, that there's good baseball here in Cincinnati. So, but I love what we saw from the bullpen tonight. You've got tomorrow. Taylor Rogers is going to be available. Suter is a hit or miss, but Luis May, 23 pitches last night, probably still available tomorrow after a day off today. Ian Jabot, only 12 pitches last night. He's available. Not sure anybody wants to see that number called, but he is available. Scott Barlow doesn't throw tonight. Only 18 pitches after having 3 days of rest. Tony Santillan probably not available. 17 pitches last night, and I think he got up over 20 tonight. He did get taxed and ran some deep counts before finally getting out of it. And then G did not throw yesterday, Graham Ashcraft, but he did throw a few pitches tonight. Gets us an inning in the third, and kudos to him for getting everything rolling there. So it'll be an interesting matchup, but you probably get Pagan, Rogers, May as your big 3. Barlow is there as well if you need a 4th. So I like the health of our bullpen going into tomorrow, and it's gonna be fun to see because the Cubs bullpen is taxed as well. They had to get to their guys. They let poor Colin Rea, they strung him out there. He only goes 5 innings, but he gets up to 108 pitches, I think, total, because they knew they were in a spot too. Keller throws 17 last night. Presley throws 16. Drew Pomeranz throws 15. And Chris Flexen throws 14. So they used a bunch of dudes last night as well. So to see these guys, have an opportunity to maybe get even deeper into that bullpen tomorrow night, it'll be exciting to see, what matchups we can turn in our favor. And the more right-handed pitching that's out there, the better I feel about this lineup, because it feels like that's when the Reds are at their best offensively.
Absolutely. You could tell Council was a little bit stressed out with taking Colin Rea farther than he definitely needed to. That's a hard ask for a guy that started the year in the bullpen. You know what I mean? So he's definitely a little bit stretched there. So if we can jump on tomorrow's starter early and get to their bullpen, that's definitely a recipe for success and to leave with a happy weekend. But definitely an up and down kind of year like we've been talking, and we know we're up right now. But if you ever do get down, we always want to remind you can always call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide Crisis Hotline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. 988 is a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call, or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, and we want that 988 number to sit in and be a part of everyday culture, and you have that opportunity to have a resource. And the fact that it's anonymous, you can call in there when you're in your worst position that you've ever felt, and when you're down and out and feel like you've got nobody else to talk to. 988 is an amazing resource. They're not going to take anything from you. They're just going to try to help you out and get you through some really tough situations that they've done time and time again. So kudos to our guys at 988 and what they're doing. But on a brighter note, it is a Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you've got beers. It's absolutely gorgeous weather here in the metropolis. Like Corey mentioned, I got myself out to the amusement park here, up here on the north side of town tonight. Had a lot of fun with the boys, but got a chance to get back and sit in and watch this thing. And man, seeing Elly get us off the schneid and get a 2-0 bomb. I mean, that ball was hit hard. I think they said 370 some feet. That's 370 some feet. And whoever's sitting at, if it was 376, whoever caught that thing at 377, their hand hurts, because that thing was a laser. That was a peel job that somebody paid the price on the other end to take that souvenir home. But it's awesome to see Elly step up. And it's, maybe it's right-handed pitching, maybe it's a sunny weather, whatever it was, whatever he ate before the game, man, keep it going, because that's the Elly we need. That's the start that you need. You got to get something going. You needed somebody to stand up. I said last night this team didn't have a backbone, didn't have a stopper, didn't have a leader. We had two of them tonight, and Andrew Abbott and Elly de la Cruz, and those two go out and win you a ball game against a very good Cubs team. This team can mash. They can score a bunch of runs in a hurry. We get through almost 6 innings with Andrew Abbott. He does, the runners that he leaves behind do get stranded by Graham Ashcraft, and so it's great to see. It was a team win. But there's two guys that stand above the rest of the team, and you've got leaders there. And it was nice to get off the rip with the long ball, but then it was small ball. It was the Santiago Espinal bunt. It was the things like that kind of put you in a position to get around there, and then you get a couple of big hits. From Elly, you get a deep sacrifice fly that I thought was leaving the yard when Will Benson first hit it, but a good at bat, and he puts the bat on the ball. Runner on third with less than 2 outs, and Will Benson's up there, a very high swing and miss guy. That's a situation where he could falter, and we could be right back to the Reds' ways of not being able to capitalize on situations presented. But he comes through, and again, the fight for Will Benson to play every day, the lefty-lefty matchup, I don't even want to hear it anymore. If there's a right-hander anywhere in the vicinity, if there's a right-hander that could come in, as soon as that righty's out, Will Benson's in the lineup, because he's playing a pretty damn good defensive right field as well.
Oh, you're not losing anything in the outfield by having Will Benson out there. That's absolutely 100% correct. And just the power that he brings. I mean, even on that sac fly that we thought we're getting out of the yard, what an exciting play right there. But you're right, Elly, we live and die with 44. He's our captain, oh captain, my captain. You know what I mean? He's gonna have his ups and downs, but we go as Elly goes. And when Elly shows up, we're a completely different ball club. Everybody else feeds off of it. So the 2-run homer was a spark, and we never looked back. And playing those, like you said, getting on base there and playing those add-on runs in the inning. But I'd hate to keep beating it on the head. We brought it up in the rundown though. Those add-ons are absolutely crucial when your bullpen can come in and not give up walks and give up the solo shots that aren't absolute killers. Because after last night's game, once those balls start leaving the yard, everybody kind of, here we go again. You know what I mean? So it's just another Cincinnati Reds night. But doing those little things, playing the add-on when you have to, that's playing baseball, man. It's getting it done. And we didn't necessarily have to do it with the power for the add-on runs, which is nice to see as well. But yeah, it's just an all-around good win at the ballpark. And I did see somebody bring it up in the chat. Why didn't we pinch run Newsom there? Or is it Hampson? Why did we run him in there in the bottom of the 8th to score that extra run? Hindsight's always being 20/20. As Tyler Stevenson's got to score there. You've got to score that run. That's a big run, especially after giving up the solo shot there in the inning before that. It would have been nice to get that run back, but hindsight being 20/20, I would have definitely hit a pinch runner there. But we're going to try to stay positive tonight, and it was still a good win.
Well, and you run the risk reward of, you've got a guy up there that's hitting 176 in Matt McClain, and you've got a catcher that's been calling a pretty good game against these Cubs that are going to mash. And so maybe you need that continuity behind the plate, and whatever Stevenson had done to that point was working out. He called a great game with Abbott, kept some guys off balance. But by not pinch running him, you've got 3 catchers. I mean, the whole reason Austin Wynns is here is to be able to do things like that in a spot where you can, and you nip in the bud what little bit of momentum you could get from Matt McClain delivers in that spot, and this thing turns into a 7-2 ball game, I think, at the time, or a 7-3 ball game at the time. That's a massive run. You get yourself to Grand Slam range, and there's just a little bit of momentum that's nipped by not having a pinch runner there that can score from first base. But Big Red Machine comes in with a big super chat, and we appreciate everybody in the chat.
Yes, sir.
And the super chats are fun too. He says, I've been paying attention to Elliott bats for several games. He didn't use the torpedo bat again today and hit a home run. No torpedo bat yesterday, batting right. He needs to stick with the old bat. Whatever it is, man, appreciate you, Big Red Machine. That's looking hard, dude. That's You're watching with more intent than I am, and I feel like I'm trying to take notes and come back here and talk to you guys and tell you what happened. So the fact that you can pick up on that, if he's not using the torpedo bat, burn those damn things, man. I'm gonna start a fire tonight here after we jump off the show here in Liberty Township. If he wants to bring the torpedo bats up, we'll sacrifice them. We'll do the Joe Boo shuffle and get the rum out too.
Absolutely, whatever it takes, we'll do the sacrifice if we have to. If we're live right there in the dugout. But
Bull Durham, what do we need? A live chicken. Glove.
How about a bucket of chicken? We'll just do that one. Always appreciate you, Big Red Machine. Super. I'll be honest. I'll go ahead and say it right now. We have the best chat room in sports. I don't care what anybody says. Our guys are so detailed into it, man. And if we're not talking about it, they're not afraid to bring it up, and I completely love it. Chat couldn't be more happy with you, man. Make sure you like the stream, tell all your friends, spread the good word, man. We're always having fun here on a Saturday night, especially when the Reds come away with a win.
I listen to Optimistic John more than I listen to my wife, I'm pretty sure. On these weekends, dude. Optimistic John's just in my pocket. He's a good old buddy, and I've never met the man in my life. I hope to one of these days, not at the ballpark. But, he's here and in and out every night. Love these guys and what they bring to this thing, because it is, especially when you're in those losing games, man, the chat's there to help us out, and it's a great situation. And then we turn around, and hopefully what you're listening to here, if you're on the podcast version of this, hopefully you're having a good Sunday. It is Memorial Day Sunday. I think we got the Indy 500 this weekend. We're going to, get that opportunity to go out and have some fun. And, I think you wanted to mention something about this Memorial Day weekend as well, to Eric Corti.
Just wanted to spend a special shout out to our veteran that has since passed, our grandpa who served in the Korean War. And hats off to all the veterans out there that have sacrificed their lives to give us our freedom, man. Freedom isn't free, and definitely something we don't want to take for granted. So hats off to all you veterans. Make sure everybody has a happy and safe Memorial Day, and remember why we're celebrating. It's for our guys that are no longer with us, that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. So happy Memorial Day, everybody, and please be safe out there. And we always want. Yeah, there we go. Let me grab my beer here.
Yep. Cheers to that one, my man.
Cheers to that one.
Any louder.
Absolutely. So I always want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day and just stay safe, man. That's the number one key. So.
Yeah, and Tommy H, I see you there. You get the Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and Cincinnati Reds baseball. What more can you ask for in a weekend? If these NBA playoffs are heating up, if you get a chance, get out there and watch your Pacers. I know we've got a lot of Indiana fans with Cincinnati not having an NBA team, so a lot of fun going on there. But enough of that stuff. Let's talk about our Cincinnati Reds again, T. What's our next topic for the night?
Oh, our next topic was the playing add-on, but we've already kind of beat that one to death. So just the overall thoughts tonight. I know everybody's been kind of frustrated with the Terry Francona situation. It's not what am I trying to say? Not spot hitting, not pulling up our pinch hitters where we need to, and that sort of thing. But I feel like we kind of got to let it simmer a little bit too. It's hard not to overreact on a day-to-day basis, but by the same token, I think we're slowly but surely figuring it out. Obviously, it's easy to say on nights after a win, but let's. I'm hoping he's figuring out the pieces to this puzzle. It's going to take more than 50 games in the spring training to get it figured out. So let's try to stay positive, man. Optimism is free. Optimism is free, and it's a lot cheaper than pessimism. So
yeah, and I think I've got to take a note from John's book and be more optimistic. I think you're exactly right. Watching the rant back today again, it makes me want to crawl in my skin after seeing what I was able to say last night. I was pissed off, and we absolutely should be. As a fan base, they've not delivered for us in quite some time. And so last night was just my tipping point. But in reading the comments from that, they're like, hey, man, if Tito's not worried and he's won World Series, you shouldn't be worried either. And that hit home. Like I took that to heart. That's one of those situations that it is still May. There's still June, July, August, and September to go. We're only a third of the way through this thing, and Tito's not ready to jump ship yet. So stay with it, stay the course, and let's see what happens. I want to see us win some of these big games, and I feel like the more you add pressure, and that's what I want to see develop this season, is play some of these winning teams. You've got what was it before this Cubs series? 33 of the next 36 games are against teams with a winning record. If you can to hang around 500, and like I said earlier, tomorrow feels like the most important game of the season to date. If that's the case, that's you. Hopefully, you have like a playoff atmosphere. You get a playoff feel in the clubhouse. So that way, if we do make it to the promised land and we do get a chance to play some meaningful baseball in October, that's what these young guys need. We need Elly to see really explosive opportunities, whether the crowd's with him or the crowd's against him, whatever it might be. We need these games of high impact and high importance so that we can figure out what we've got in these guys. Because the last couple of times that we've made these playoff runs, we've gotten there and we go down and get shut out by the Braves, or we go and get no hit by Roy Halladay. There's all these different situations where it was the moment too big for them. And you just hope that they play very meaningful baseball from here to the end of the year. Because if they're not, if you get 10 games below 500 and we all punt on the season and we don't really care what happens in September, we don't find out what you've got. Because these lights get bright when the playoffs and games of meaning come around, and you don't know what you have in these guys, and it's just great experience for all of them. As we try to get this thing and push it across the line and get ourselves back into playoffs, and then eventually play championship baseball here in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here apologizing for Tito Francona. My man has made some decisions that were not the right decision, and we should absolutely rake him over the coals for it when we need to. We're Cincinnati Reds. We put the fan and fanatic. So you're absolutely right to rake my guy over the coals when the decisions aren't right. But every once in a while, you got to take a step back and just breathe a minute, look at the season as a whole. We're going to have blunders. Hopefully he learns from those mistakes just like everybody else does. So I'm still on the Tito bandwagon. I'm not ready to give up on my guy quite yet. Just doing a little bit of comparison earlier, looking at some of the stuff with Craig Counsell. Counsell had 73 wins in his first year with the Brewers. Turned the Brewers around. Takes time. You know what I mean? And I think he had 83 wins with that's what Nick put in the Google Doc. Those notes are fantastic, by the way. But 83 wins in his first year with the Cubs before he finally hit him, before he got this lineup rolling. So it's going to take some time, man. I'm trying to keep the optimism up, but I'm not going to sit here and act like everybody's stupid for calling Terry Francona or for calling him out when he's wrong. Yeah, when you're wrong, you're wrong. It is what it is. And the way he's approached Charlie Goldsmith in the post-game presser did not impress you, me, or anybody here in the Chatterbox sports area. That was not great. The magic potion answer was not what we were wanting to hear from Terry Francona after you make a bonehead decision like that. So I'm not going to sit here and apologize for the guy, but by the same token, we're Reds fans. We know how to do this. We've been through it before. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the positivity rolling. Keep the butts in the ballpark and keep after our guys here. Our guys are still trying hard. They're bringing the effort every night in, night out. So let's be the Reds fans we know how to be.
And what Austin mentioned last night, when we were on here talking about, just the depths of despair that we were out here airing our grievances. He gets out there and says, if things we don't need that much to go right for this team to be amazing. It's one of those situations that if Elly can carry you for a week, you know what I mean? Like Jay Bruce used to be able to do this. He would get hot and he'd go 3 for 4 for 4 or 5 games in a row and mash 4 or 5 home runs in a week. And it's those kinds of things that can set you off and then let everybody else chip in. What we've not seen is this guy really carry you in a game. Today was it. The grand slam on his bobblehead night was another one that was good, and where he basically single-handedly won the game. So I think we win that game like 4-1. But it's one of those, if he is the primary contributor, the pressure falls off of these guys. And tonight he's the contributor early. He's the contributor in the middle innings. And then everything else gets a little easier and we continue to load up. We don't take it bats off. Will Benson's hitting hard sacrifice flies. We're running full counts. We're putting the pressure on these dudes, and we're starting to become more professional. I think earlier in the year, you and I were on here, and we complained a lot about the lack of pitches taken. Here's how many at bats he's got. Here's how many pitches he's got. Friedel wasn't doing it. Steer wasn't doing it, and all these things were happening. Spencer Steer gets another hit today, and comes through in a big spot. Do we need Tyler Stevenson to get going? Yes. Do we need to see more out of the corner infield and in the corner outfield? Yes, we do. But with Will Benson in there, it feels like it's right. Austin Hayes is getting things right. TJ Friedel seems to be right. So it feels like the outfield, when it's those three, is in a very strong position. Infield-wise, you hate to look at it because he hits a double late in the game that should have been an RBI as well. Matty McClain, hopefully that starts something, man, because if he goes – then it's look out. Then we go from being a team that's going to hover around 500 and compete to a team that we're going hunting now. Matty and Elly at the hopefully back at the top of the order eventually, but we're going to try to get something going. But Espinal playing a really good defensive third base. Yeah, I like the tools that are there. It's just the guys that you count on to field need to field, and the guys that you count on to hit need to hit. And right now, it seems like we weren't getting either way with a consistent basis in that 3-game slide there. So we do have a couple of super chats we want to get to. He said, let's give flowers to Espinal for that boss bunt and humiliated the Cubs infield and helped provide 2 runs. He's also hitting against right-handed pitching. Hated it, absolutely hated the idea of him putting in a 2-hole again against right-handed pitching and when the lineup came out. But then he provides that bunt. And again, if there's a runner on first, I hate Santiago Espinal hitting in 2-hole. If there's a runner on second, I absolutely love Santiago Espinal hitting in that 2-hole, because if Friedel doubles, which he does, it gives us that opportunity. Or I'm sorry, he actually doesn't double, he singles, but then advances on a bad pickoff. But now he's got a runner on second. There's nobody out, and Espinal pushes that ball, and it did. It made that Cubs infield look silly. First baseman never moved. Pitcher never even thought about going over to cover, and it was a first and third situation, and here we go. And then he's able to take second base. So we absolutely love it. But and then we've got one from Optimistic John to Eric and Corey, true baseball dogs. Will be in Espinal, baby. I'll ride the Willie Benson train. I'm here for it. Santiago Espinal play really good defensive third base, and that's what he's done. If that stays true, and you can count on that down there. It's been a long time since the Reds have been able to count on a defensive third baseman. You're going back to the days of
Scott Rowland.
Yeah, I mean that's the last time you felt good and you didn't have to hold your breath every time the ball was hit down third base. It's the Eugenio Suarez days where it's all right, he's going to mash 40 home runs, but
you lived with it because of the homers. But
if he sails one more into the dugout from third base, I'm going to lose my damn mind and need 988. But then you go through the Noelvi Marte, and he's a young guy. He's getting there. The errors are going to be there, and what happens. But you just, even over the last couple of years, it's you still held your breath with Espinal down there. Balls hit there. We came close to turning a really nice double play that would have been huge in the moment. But it stays on the board, and the guy beats it out to first base. But it's a solid defensive infield when it's Spencer Steer, Matt McClain, Elly, and Santiago Espinal. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And like you say, defensively, I'm really starting to feel good about this ball club. You even saw it tonight. Andrew Abbott got lucky on a couple balls that went deep in the outfield and that sort of stuff. But when the ball's in the air, I feel like our guys are going to come down with it. I'm more optimistic. I'm optimistic John on that. More with optimistic John on that one. I love the solidity. We could just solidify this offense a little bit, man. Obviously, our pitching is stout, and I feel really good about our defense. That offensive consistency that we keep harping on. If it starts getting there, man, look out. I really like what this ball club can be. And if Santiago Espinal is becoming one of my favorite players. There's not a lot of you're going to say on the highlight reel and that sort of thing. The guy's a ball player. When you need a play and you need it made, he can make it. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of today's game. I had to listen to the first 6 innings going back and forth from Columbus today. But listen to Tommy Thrall talk about it on the radio. He made a pick that not a lot of third basemen can make, man. And just having that surety there at third base it just solidifies everything, man. And it makes me feel better about what we've got going on. So kudos to SP. I definitely want to give the guy his flowers, but go ahead, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And when you've got somebody like Andrew Abbott that's getting to be pitch efficient, like you said, he doesn't go over 15 pitches for, I think, the first 4 innings. It's not until the 5th that he runs himself into a little bit of trouble and runs it up to 83. When these guys are pitch efficient and you've got the defense behind them, Hunter Green last night started pitch efficient. I think he goes 10 and 11 pitches in the first 2 innings. But then he started to get just a little bit too hitter friendly and started to leave the ball out over the plate, and they started to mash a little bit. And the extra base hits came along, and that's why he only makes it 4 innings. And he has to work around some situational stuff there. But with the defense behind you, it feels like the confidence that this pitching staff has to attack the zone and not worry about walking dudes. Walks have killed this team in 2024. Walks is what really did us in 2023, if you look back at it. The fact that you've got to throw strikes, nobody cares how hard you throw ball 4. It's you've got to put the ball in the zone and allow some of these guys to make some contact, and hopefully you keep them off balance enough, and you've got stuff that moves to the situation that this defense behind you can really shine. Will Benson as a defensive right fielder has been stellar. Reese Hines played a really good defensive right field too. Connor Joe, I'm not sure. I don't know what he's got out there, but I would imagine we're going to see him out there from time to time when it's against a left-handed pitcher. But I like where we're at. If you told me at the beginning of the year that defensively the corners would be in an okay position between first, third, left, and right field, I think I would take that for the most part. And the hitting struggles that have come with it have been the reason why we're still a game below 500. But if that can start to if water can find its level, We're not asking these guys to have career years. We're just asking them to be their major league average. And if they do so, this team's going to score quite a few more runs. The 1-0 shutouts aren't going to happen when you can string these hits together, because we read off a bunch of numbers last night as to, kind of where guys were. Spencer Steele seems to be coming back and starting to play. And, if the first baseman's hitting, that's what the luxury most other Major League Baseball teams have, and we'll happily take it here and be off to the races.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing Spencer Steele get going in the bottom of your lineup, it definitely makes you feel better about it, because once you can get guys like TJ, who's playing really, really well. I think TJ Friedel's kind of been our leader in the clubhouse since Trevino's kind of taken a back seat with the Stevenson shuffle being in there. TJ Friedel's just playing absolutely lights out. So when you can get guys on in the front end of your lineup and you can actually get meaningful hits in the back end from Spencer Steele, I mean, it's kind of gone unnoticed a little bit, because his 11-game hit streak has been on this up and down roller coaster that we've been on. But if that guy can get hot and start driving in runs, it's really going to start making a difference. And you'll see the guys like Elly's runs numbers go up, Austin Hayes' runs numbers go up. So having that in the back end of the lineup is an obvious upgrade. And so hopefully keep him going, get Matty Ice right, and we're going to get this ball rolling. So definitely feeling a little more optimistic than I was last night, because I was kind of right there with you, man. I was ready to jump off the cliff, and that sort of. I almost jumped in the chat, because I did get home a little bit late to get into the chat, but I was like, I got to stay out of this one tonight. I think I clicked in to watch two at bats last night, and both of them were the Pete Crow-Armstrong home runs. I threw my phone down. I'm like, I'm not doing it, man. I couldn't do it last night.
Yeah, and the advantage that it gives you too when you play defense, we give up 3 solo shots. The bullpen does between Graham, Pagan, and Santillan. Those 3 blasts, those suck. That comes from throwing the ball in the zone. Those are all pretty decent pitches. They've got great hitters. The Cubs have a great lineup when it comes to hitting. Do they play great defense? Well, center field, yes. Shortstop, yes. But there's some questionable spots elsewhere. Their pitching staff isn't nearly as good as ours, in my opinion, and what we've shown so far this year. But what you give Santillan and Ashcraft and Pagan a chance to do is throw the ball in the zone, knowing that they can trust the defense behind them. You've got a 4-run lead. When you mash and then play good defense, it's amazing how fast these games can go. I mean, we're at 7:40. This game's threw off at 4:10. We've been on here for 48 minutes, and so it's one of those 6:50. I mean, it's a 2-hour, 20-minute baseball game, because you're getting up and down in a hurry. I mean, you and I talked about it when we have to jump on for the night. It's like, damn, this thing's scooting along. We're an hour and 10 minutes in, and we're already through the 6th. So here we go. But it just, I love the fact that our defense leads to the confidence of the staff. The confidence of the staff leads to saving the arms. Saving the arms leads to better depth in a series. Better depth in a series hopefully leads to a winning record. So that's what we're after, and they're really starting to put things together. I know we didn't have a final topic, but I am going to throw one out there. And I don't know that folks realize how much work Nick Kirby puts into this thing. But you mentioned the book that he writes on the series as we go into it. I'm not going to lie, guys. Nick Kirby sends us a bulletin of about 8 pages, and you see a lot of it on the Chatterbox Twitter feed, where he has little snippets and things like that about the game, and he recaps and does a great job as he's starting to get back into writing. But the information that this guy, can put together and have it stand out, all the little tidbits and things like that, kudos to him and what he's doing. But the one thing that I do want to see him work on in that document, and it comes from Big Red Machine here, it says, anyone else see the trend of when umpires blow more than one call, the Cubs score? Check swings were awful, calls were awful, and Ashcraft struck out a batter 3 times, and then the Cubs scored. He's 100% right. I don't know what we've done to the Major League Baseball Umpires Association, but in a 6-4 win to still bitch about the umpires, that's how bad they were today. There were dudes that were, I mean, we're not talking check swings. These were full-blown.
They're 3/4 of the way through, yeah.
Yes. I mean, if the ball gets put in play, it's got a chance of getting through the infield is how hard they swung. Like, it's unbelievable how bad they were today. And watching the replays, I'm like, shit. And it's one of those, like, it doesn't take much for this team to get going in the negative direction. And so when you think you have strike 3, and then that turns into a base hit or a walk or whatever it might do down the line, for a young team, that's really freaking important. We've got so much of an opportunity on our plate that we have to get right when it comes to the pitching. And then we have to try to hit the ball with a lineup that's subpar. To have the umpires against us too, I don't know when the last time a challenge went our way. Goodness gracious. It just doesn't seem like we're on the same page. And Maybe that's why Tito left the game originally. It's because he hated the umpiring situation. I don't know. But now that he's back, it doesn't seem like anything's changed because he can't win a challenge and he's not getting the luck of the draw. And he was all kinds of pissed off at a couple of those check swings that didn't get called for strike 3. So hopefully tomorrow's a better day. But yeah, any final thoughts here, T, before we wrap it up?
Well, as a Cincinnati Reds fan, all you can think of is which one of you guys got money on this game or something. You know what I mean? Because it's like something's going on there. Somebody got money on the Cubs winning or something's going on there, man. It just felt funny. But no, a great night at the ballpark, man. We had to beat the Cubs and the Blue tonight. So kudos to the Reds. They should have got 2 wins for tonight, but it is what it is. And just
a bunch of Marge Shot haters, man. I think they're still giving us penance for Marge Shot back in the day, whatever it might be. But hopefully we can get a fair Blue tomorrow, and we can go out and take 2 or 3 from these Cubbies and get ourselves back to 500. That game does throw off at 1:40 tomorrow on your Memorial Day Sunday. It's going to be Nick Lodolo at 4-4 with a 3.22 ERA going for the Redlegs, and then right-handed pitcher Ben Brown going for the Chicago Cubs. He sits at 3-3 with a 5.4 ERA. Looking forward to seeing it. With it being a righty, you can probably expect Will Benson. We can expect Gavin Lux back in the lineup. I don't know that you get a Sunday special when the series has gone the way that it is. We need to come out looking to step on a throat tomorrow. We need to go get this thing, break this rubber game cycle that we've fallen into, put 2 in a row together before we go face Jonathan India, and then Brady Singer gets a chance to see his old team in the Kansas City Royals in Kansas City in that series starting on Monday. But a lot of fun to be had. Hopefully, if you've got a ticket, get yourself down to the ballpark, make some noise. Let's create an atmosphere, drown out that Blue and those miserable a-holes that come down here, because it's cheaper to buy a ticket in Cincinnati than it to buy we've been told you buy a ticket in Cincinnati, get a hotel, drive down for the night is cheaper than to just buy a regular ticket at Wrigley. So, you know, they've got a little bit more of a bankroll, but their people pay for their tickets all the time as well. So get down to the ballpark, give yourself a chance, see a team get back on a winning record, and take 2 or 3 from a division foe. But I'm really looking forward to it. Again, the anticipation around a 1:40 Sunday start usually isn't that high, but tomorrow feels like a very pivotal moment in the season that if we can play good baseball and win a ball game, it feels like it'll go a long way for the confidence and maybe start something going here.
You're absolutely right, man. We need to get this ball rolling. There's no better team to end the streak, the rubber match streak against than the Chicago Cubs. So let's get this ball rolling and keep it going and have another fun day at the ballpark. And we'll see you guys next week for the exact same foe. I think we're at Chicago next week for a couple day games. So yeah, back on the air next week. So hopefully we're celebrating a series win over these guys, and we're bringing a series win to you next weekend. So
yeah,
Eric, any final thoughts?
Fly that L, baby. That's exactly right. Fly that L. Take your terrible Malort and everything else and shove it. We're here to beat the Cubs. That's what we're here to do. But, you know, we appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all giving us an opportunity. As Corey and I settle into this weekend ritual, next week we got a couple of 220 games on Friday and Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But join us again for hopefully mid-afternoon winning beers. And, Corey T, you want to finish us off?
As always, go Reds.